Hey everyone, good morning and happy Tuesday. Today's Facebook Live is all about the 7 signs. I'm going to go over 7 signs that it's time to get rid of a product that's not performing. I know it's a very popular topic where in your shop you'll have some items that sell and then definitely some items that don't. Questioning whether or not you should be getting rid of those items or not. Sometimes we just leave it there because it doesn't hurt us, but sometimes we want to know, should we clean house? And that's what today's Facebook Live is about. The 7 signs that it's time to get rid of a product that isn't performing, okay? I'm most excited to talk about this because sometimes, we let our shops kind of pile up with items, especially if we're making new items and we're just adding more. So if you have 100 items in your shop, we'll tend to add a new product line and we have 20 more. And then later on we have another 50 more or whatever you're adding. And we tend to leave products in there. Now, sometimes I get the question is, do I eliminate some of these products? How do I know if I should get rid of them? I mean, there's many different ways to tell, but I'm going to go over 7 different ways in a certain order so you can help determine it yourself. And then I'm going to give you several tips afterwards. So let's get started. So you're in your shop. For reference, let's just talk about an Etsy shop. Whatever shop it is, it could be Etsy, it could be .com, it could be Amazon, wherever. The first thing you have to determine if this product, you should get rid of it. So what you're going to go through, these 7 steps. 1, photos. Do you have great photos? If you don't, then that's the first answer, right? Let's just say the scissor here. You can't determine if it's awesome if you haven't given it a chance to survive. Okay, and one of the ways to give it a chance to survive is obviously great photos. Great photos could be very relative, meaning you think it's great, but it actually isn't. But let's just be honest with yourselves. If you know that photo of your product cannot be featured in a magazine, then it probably needs some work. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it probably needs some work, okay? The photos you have maybe are not doing right for your customers, okay? The point of the matter is, if you don't have great photos, get great photos. That should be on your to-do list, right? We always work on things we should do throughout the year. I mean, all our tasks, our goals. If the first thing is deciding whether or not you should get rid of products, if your photos are not great, that should be the first thing in order. We are online sellers. I know photos are frustrating. In fact, somebody recently posted that they're frustrated. They bought a light box, they have a great camera, but it still doesn't come out right. You should get that in line first. You should get photos done first. And so the fact that it takes us a while to get really great photos because we have to figure out how to edit them afterwards, after we figure out how to get a great light box or great natural lighting or blah, 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 we still have to do other things to make great photos. It takes a long time for probably really, really good reason. Now, after you get that great photo, again, including additional product photos, sometimes one photo won't do it. I sell some of my products just fine with only 2 photos, the photo itself and then the color chart for ink and envelope. However, if I find that some of my products are not selling well, it may be important for me to include other photos. For me, it would be showing people other color combinations. Giving a chance to survive is really, really important. Do the best you can with the photos, okay? Yeah, Karen says photos are her nemesis. It is for a lot of people. But just know, as an online seller, it's meant to be. I mean, if we were born out of the womb knowing how to take photos, which some people are, by the way, they're photographers, then great. But if not, you have to understand that you can't just push it under the rug. You just can't, especially not for online sellers. You absolutely cannot. We could get by with decent photos, okay? So some of us out there have really great photos and some of us have decent photos. If you have decent photos that are doing well, that are, that maybe can use some improvement but really are fine, then you can move on from this first sign, okay? A first tip. Now, they looked at the product. This is the product, remember the fake product I mentioned, and said, this is not selling. Let me see if it's time to get rid of it. First, photos, like I said. Okay, determine if it's a great photo. If not, get it on your to-do list to fix it. And or get additional product photos to help it sell. Conversions, okay? Next, second tip, second sign, title and description of this product. Again, I'm using this as an example, okay? These are the scissors I bought, actually based on some of you guys' recommendations. Title and description, I'm not talking about SEO. I'm talking about, is your title of the product relevant to your item? So yeah, it has a lot to do with SEO, granted, but you have to also be describing this product. I've seen people in the group that try to win at the SEO game and use a title to describe a product, but just to gain views. And it's not quite the right description of the product. So if you sell pillowcases, that should really be clear in your title, right? And sometimes people don't do that because they want to gain SEO views, but we forget that yes, we're trying to gain views, we're trying to game the system, but we forget that we're actually selling to humans that need to know what they're buying. Okay, so it could be very misleading. So is your title relevant to the product? And for conversion reasons, is your description well laid out? Does it entice the customer in regards to the actual description? Like, are you romancing them with words? Are you going over the benefits to them, right? It's all about them. And also, look, is it well laid out? Is it formatted correctly? Do you have big old paragraphs that literally during shop critiques, I don't even want to read? Like, you paid me for a shop critique, and if I don't want to read it, then that's a big red flag. And probably customers are not reading through those big paragraphs. So is it formatted correctly? When I say formatted correctly, guys, think about well, it could vary depending on what experience you have. But think about blog posts, right? When you read a blog post, you want to be able to skim it or read it correctly. You see headings, you see like 1, 2, 3, right? And within that, you see like bullet points. You get it? So using headings, capital letters, using bullet points, whether the bullet point's a star, whether it's a dash, whether it's a check mark, whatever, to help have the reader's eyes skim and see what the highlights of that product are, the features. Have you went over the features? Have you went over the benefits? Have you linked to other products that they may be interested in if they looked at that product? So if they looked at these scissors, okay, imagine it's not Etsy. Imagine you're selling non-handmade scissors on Amazon, okay? Have you linked to other products, for example, that are similar scissors but meant for a different use? Why? Because if the customer search for scissors, they may not need dressmaker scissors, but they may need paper cutter ones. I don't know, I'm making this up. You get it? So linking to other products as if you were a silent salesperson, or actually a salesperson that's in front of them saying, hey, you looked at these, I know you may not be interested. How about this, this, and this, based on their needs? For me, it would be a link to the return address printing. It would be a link to the matching notepad and other matching items. Does that make sense? So you're encouraging them to continue shopping. Again, tip number 2 is to determine whether or not you should keep this product, this non-performing product, is at least did I give it a chance to survive by having a great title? Okay, remember, not SEO related, just in general, relevant title and a great description. If not, stop right there. Make sure you put that on your to-do list, okay? Now, tip number 3 is variations. Now, hear me out, okay? I know Etsy only gives us 2 variations. I love Amazon Handmade because they give us plenty and really, really great ones. On your own website, you should have the ability to add as much as you need because you own the website. Usually platforms like WordPress and Shopify give you a lot of wiggle room, okay? But your variations, by the way, guys, should be meeting the needs of what the customer wants. So for me, I list my stationery, and my variations are, what does the customer want when they purchase my stationery? What does the customer want when they purchase your items? What freedom do they get? For me, it's picking the ink and envelope color, okay? What is it for you that they need, And if you don't know or feel like your variations could be better, the best way to figure it out is simply ask friends and family, because they're unbiased. They don't sell your product. Say, hey, if you're interested in this product, what would you like to change? What would you like to control in the design process? And what questions you'll be asking. Or if you don't have friends and family or you don't want to ask them, think about the conversations you received from customers. I don't care if it was one request. Where there is one request is probably many. If somebody said to you, hey, do you offer this in a cream paper instead of white? Because I only offer white. That may be an option you want to offer. So think about what customers are messaging you. If you're out there saying, Dahlia, I get it. I have some requests for this, but I don't offer it because of lack of resources or lack of money, or I don't feel like offering cream. I don't want to house white paper and cream paper. The reality is, if people ask it enough, and you're declining, I'm all about doing the business you want to do. I'm all about you controlling the business. I don't have to offer cream paper because people ask for it, but just the reality is that if you're saying no to requests, sometimes those requests are what your target customer wants. And if you fail to meet those needs, okay, you might find yourself converting less. So in the event that people keep asking for cream, okay, and I keep saying no, I might get views, I might get whatever, clicks, whatever, but if I don't convert, that might be one of the problems. So offer variations that people want. If you fail to offer it, you might think, oh, why aren't they converting? That may be the reason why, okay? And having it in variations is much easier than saying, hey, message me, put it in the notes to seller if you want cream paper. Like, if you have the ability, please do so. Yes, we are limited on Etsy because they only give us 2 variations. Use it wisely. However, on Amazon, they give you more. If you're on Amazon and you do .com, you should have more control and to have much more than 2, okay? If not, then that might be problematic if you need it. You should be using another platform, okay? I'd highly recommend saying to yourself, okay, this product, remember we're going back to the scissor, people would like me to carry this in this way, this way, this way. Or they keep asking me if I have copper scissors, I'm making this up, or instead of a black handle, they want it pink handle, or whatever. Do I offer that as a variation? And if I don't, because I don't have the money to buy more supplies that way, or because I'm hard-headed, the reality is you may be missing out on some sales. So I would say, like I said to the other tips, work on it. Work on getting that cream paper if that's what customers want. Work on getting over the fact that you're producing things that you may not want. I mean, for me, cream paper was an example. It's not requested too much because my items are very modern and it's not requested too much on that side. But if they did, and I'd be saying no to business, it may be ideal for me to carry it. And the only reason why I would not want to is now that I like to simplify my process. I carry paper and envelopes, right? And packaging. And the more things I carry, the more complicated it is. And that's fine because it's the needs of the customer. But that's maybe the reason why you may not want to choose to offer that variation. However, just realize that you may be saying no to sales. And that is your right, but you have to determine whether or not it's a huge, big no to sales. Meaning, is there a lot of customers that feel this way and that's why you're missing out on potential sales? Or is it a small crew of people that you're like, okay, I can still maintain my business? Because my business, by the way, my stationery is a very modern stationery brand. And so, not that I can't offer cream, I'm just giving you an example. So if I don't want to offer it, I think it's fine because my customers, while some of them may want it, that is not my target customer. And I have enough customers that are not the traditional cream type of paper people that I'm still going to survive. But make that determination for yourself. Sometimes we're so comfortable with what we're doing that it may be hard for us to venture out. Because when I first started, I started with art prints. Okay, imagine this was an art print because it was easy. I printed out one sheet of paper, I packaged it in one sleeve, and that's it. That's all I had. But as I grew, I mean, I offered stationery because that was like my love. And of course, I had to start carrying envelopes and multiple colors envelopes and packaging. And so, you know, of course, I didn't start out with it. You know, I was trying to like creep into it slowly, which I'm a big fan of, by the way. But if you're over here saying to me, Dahlia, I want to make $5,000 a month and I'm only making $1,000, we can't make it overnight. We know that, and you should know that too. But then you be comfortable with learning how to expand based on your customers' needs. All right, so let's see what people are saying here. Yes, variations. I asked you the other day about offering multiple dogs versions of my cards. I added it as a variation, as you said, and it sold straight away. Now, Gemma makes a good point, okay? You know, people were asking, she decided to offer it because I said, yes, go for it. And, you know, people are using it. Sometimes it's hard based on one person or two persons' convos to you, how to offer a really great variation. Like for me, I offer colors, no brainer. But then how do I make sure that I offer the correct colors? I have a color chart, it's up there. It might take some time to refine your variations, just FYI. I've talked to many people during coaching calls in regards to color charts and things like that to understand our customers. So like if you're in the wedding industry, if you're not offering envelope colors that are navy, gold, cream, light pink, whatever, then you're really missing out. Because if you're just saying, hey, message me for envelope colors, blah, 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 it's like, don't make the customer work hard. Offer the popular ones for wedding industry. Okay, now, are you bored knowing what they are? No, but it's part of our work. We're supposed to know what they are over time, of course. And you can believe that I didn't start my business knowing all these. It took time. And you may be in the transition period where you're trying to learn what they are. And that's okay. But just know that if you're determining whether or not you should get rid of a product, tip number 3 is variation. Have you really given it the best variations it could have to survive and convert? Okay, especially, which I'm about to get to another tip about views. If you're getting views on this product and it's not converting, that may be a sign to fix the variations, okay? People who aren't asking don't reach out to you because they are shy or too impulsive. Yes, correct. That makes a good point. Sometimes people don't even ask, but when there's a customer that asks you, hey, do you have this? Just remember, where there's one, there's many, right? That may be an odd offering, but I think you guys know this. If you offer custom orders, you know that if you created a custom order for a customer and then decide to list it for other people to buy, have you ever found that all of a sudden that product sells like crazy? I found it over and over again. Actually, my most popular sellers are ones that were created for customers, and I decided to list it. I promise you right now, that's what happened, okay? In your opinion, when is the busiest month for wedding products? It depends on what type of wedding products you offer, because if you're offering invitations, they have to be purchased way in advance. If you're offering day of wedding items, it's different. Day of wedding items, I feel the busiest between March to September. Wedding invitations are, depending on if you have your shop all together, it could be January to July, September. I forget when the end month is. I think actually sooner. I think it dies down sooner. Okay, let's go over the next tip. You know, it's not a topic I talk about in Facebook Live if I don't mention SEO in some form. Kinda, right? We all rely on it. It's not the know-all, be-all. You can still have a very good business without SEO if you have an engaged following. But the reality is I like for you to implement SEO to all your platforms because it's a way to bring in traffic that's kind of passive, right? You implement it, and for the most part, people keep coming in, keep buying. I made already sales this morning, and guess what? I didn't do anything to make it. People have searched for me and found me and purchased me. okay? Because I have other things in place, great photos, great products, etc. So let's talk about SEO, okay? You have to look at the product, remember the scissor again, and say, have I implemented SEO correctly? And also, you're trying to be found for a phrase that you're not being found for already. So if I have 30 scissors in my shop, okay, different types of scissors, and I'm trying to be found for, dressmaker scissors, and I have that keyword phrase in all of them, and I'm only being found X amount of times for that phrase, because you have the same type of product over and over again. I've seen this many times. I'm going to give you another example. But if you have 50 different types of leather wallets for men, there's only so many keyword phrases you're attacking. So to give it a fair chance to survive, remember, we're talking about products to determine whether or not we should get rid of it if it isn't performing. Maybe it's not performing because you're using keyword phrases, SEO, that you've already been using over and over again. So, of course, the lack of variety in your shop is hurting you. In regards to SEO, you may obviously have an email list or some other way to drive traffic, and that's fine. If you're relying on SEO, you guys know who you are. If you don't have really a following, engaged following, but you're relying on SEO, the fact of the matter is that you may not be bringing in traffic because you're utilizing the same phrases over and over again. You got it? So think about that and think about if you're implementing it properly. Okay, let's move on. This is almost like a checklist, if you will, right? Tip number 5. Remember, we have 7 to go over. 7 signs to really determine whether or not you should get rid of a product that's not performing. Now, this is a popular one, okay? If you're on the top of search, but you get no clicks or views. Now, being on the top of search is very relative, meaning at this moment, Etsy is kind of crazy. That's how other platforms run, but it's based on user experience. If I search for dressmaker scissors, I may find your product on the top of search, but if Sally searches for it, she may not find it, okay? So just know that it varies. However, if you look and you find it in the top of search, right, if you use Marmalade and you find it, et cetera, et cetera, if you try multiple ways and you at least find it once, then you know you're in the top of search somehow in some user's experience, okay? But you're not getting any clicks or views, which is the same thing, clicks, views. And your photos are good. Remember, we went over that. And your title is relevant. We didn't go over price, by the way, because I'm not going to sit here and talk about price because everybody's pricing is different. Everybody's profit margins are different, blah, 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 blah. But just so you know, if your pricing is competitive, but your designs may suck, or it may not be right for the customer. So the customer sees it on search. Why aren't they clicking, guys? You guys know the answer. A long time ago, I did a Facebook Live with you guys. I don't know if you remember. I did a live Facebook Live where I searched for a product that I want to buy for my daughter. I want to buy her backpack. School was starting, I think it was 2 years ago. School was starting, and she wanted to buy a backpack. And I got it off of Etsy. Let's never mind the fact that it actually wasn't handmade. The handmade part was actually embroidering a monogram, but my daughter had no interest in a monogram, so we just bought the backpack. Anyway, what I was looking for, my daughter wanted a blue backpack, blue and white. I like the chevron look. She was okay with it. So I looked for a few different things in the search results. One, if the title was relevant, meaning the SEO was relevant to my search, right? I searched for a blue chevron backpack. And when I found some that were pink, I was like, what is this doing here? Didn't click on it. My daughter had no interest in pink. Here's why I say that. Because some people say, oh yeah, I offer backpacks, but just so you know, I put a pink one on the photo, but don't worry, Dahlia, click on it. I also offer blue. It doesn't work that way, guys. It doesn't work that way. You think that customer is going to click on it after they see other ones that are blue? No, right? And so I understand your point. You're like, Dahlia, if they clicked on it, they would see I offer blue. I get it, but they're not going to click on it. So in that case, you should be offering separate listings, okay? On top of having a variation for the different colors, just FYI. That's another story, another time. If your designs are not relevant to what the customer is searching for and or good, and we all can agree, when I first started designing, there were some designs that I am embarrassed about. And it's okay, because even now, I look at some designs, and I know in the future, I'll be embarrassed about those. We evolve, okay? Were those designs good back then? Possibly. But we evolve, and we even evolve over time because designs change over time. But more importantly, sometimes like our designs suck or don't meet the needs of the customer or just suck. Okay, we have some of those. We don't meet the needs of the customer. So I offer a stationery design, this Apple note card. And in fact, most people buy this when they're teachers or teacher gifts. It's the Apple one. But the style is not what people want. If the Apple was super big, I realize that I don't have enough room for people to write a thank you card. You might have to change the design. It doesn't meet the needs of the customer. It may not be horrible, but it doesn't meet the needs of the customer. I find over time, my assistant could testify to this. We had a design that we both realized that doesn't actually provide enough space for the customer to write on. And we actually ended up having a complaint. I was very upset about that complaint, besides the point, okay? I actually talked about it in a vlog. It was an Amazon customer. But I ended up realizing after that, I turned a negative into a positive. I said, you know what? She's right, though. I should offer more room. So I turned that card into a folded card option so they could actually write inside. The point is your designs, maybe the word suck is not the right word, but doesn't meet the needs of the customer. They wanted an Apple note card, but yours is not what they want. They wanted a tumbler, you know, with my monogram on it, but your monogram font, not so much. You can get the point, right? You have to think about, if you've done all these things, photos, titles, descriptions, variations, SE member, do it in this order, okay? And you still like, I did everything, you know, and I'm at top of search, right? But nobody's clicking or viewing. That design doesn't meet the needs of the customer. You may not know the answer yet. You may say, I thought this Apple design was actually cute. Why are people not biting? It may be hard to determine what that is. In fact, the other item that I'm selling, I didn't know what it was. It had high views. It was converting fine, but for the amount of views it was getting, it wasn't converting enough. And now we changed it. Okay, it took a while for me to come to that conclusion and realize, as a user of this product, if I was a customer, what's the problem? And if you don't put yourself in the shoes of your target customer, it may be hard to determine. You may sit here and be frustrated, but over time you may say, aha, it clicked. And as you're in this business long enough and produce your product long enough, you may have that realization. However, unfortunately, if you don't talk to your target customers, say in craft shows or whatever, we're online sellers, we don't talk to our customers that much, or haven't been in business for a long time to really understand the customer, you may not have that realization in time. You may be frustrated. You know, you may think that the world's out to get you. That may be it, right? Because a lot of us feel like, why isn't things working, blah, blah, why people are viewing and not clicking, and you have everything else in place, photos, variation, blah, blah. You may have not come to the realization of what's wrong with your product. Why does it not meet the needs of the product? Needs of the customer. I was listing an invitation recently, another example, by the way. I literally had 6 different designs of it because I couldn't figure out which one I liked. I asked a friend of mine who's a designer. I asked myself, okay, now that sounds weird, but I asked myself, and I talked to people, friends, that would probably be in the market for this type of invitation. And they all came to the conclusion that they liked the one that we ended up picking and listing. And guess what? Because I had a great photo, and I'm not even lying to you. Great photo, great title, variations, SEO, and my assistant can testify. I listed the invitation on Friday. It sold over the weekend. I was so excited because it's just my hard work. Could I have sold if the invitation design wasn't as it was? Maybe not. We don't know. Okay, so come to that realization that maybe that your design is not the right fit for the customer. And I hate to use the word suck, but sometimes that may be actually what it is. It sucks, or may not be the right fit. Or, you know, we could even go further into it. Maybe your design looks like everybody else's, which I found that some members have. The realization is that sometimes we have like designs that are like t-shirts, right? For example, it's one pop, or mugs that they have the same type of font, same types of sayings, etc. How are you differentiating yourself between other people? You know what? When somebody searches for mom life in Etsy search, you're gonna find the exact same crap over and over again. Okay? So now there might be something about your photo that makes people want to click more. But the reality is, this may be hard then, right? So maybe your photo doesn't suck, or maybe photo doesn't suck, whatever, or design doesn't suck, but you have many people competing with you that looks exactly the same. Catherine says, I definitely have old listings that I can't believe sold. Now, for the record, like, you know, like Catherine mentions, you know, if you have listings that are not budging, doesn't mean that you should get rid of it. Go through these things, right? And so if you find you go through these things and it's still not budging, we're going to go over the next couple in a second, then you may have to get rid of it. And for the record, if you go all over these steps and realize one item is not budging, just because it gets sold once, it doesn't mean it's actually a good fit for your shop. We'll talk about that in a moment, I promise you. Let's go over the 6th one. You get clicks and views, but no sales. Remember the other one before was you're at the top of search, but you get no clicks and views. However, there's some people that actually have the problem of getting actual views, right, but no sales, okay? Now, I mentioned that before. I did get sales on this product, but it wasn't as high as my other ones in conversion rate, okay? So people show interest by clicking, but never follow through. It has a lot to do with everything I mentioned earlier, a little bit of everything, but it's not quite what they're looking for. And again, it's different factors: price, variation, relevancy. So when they click, they realize, oh, it's not a pillow with the pillowcase, it's just a pillowcase. Or the design, when they look closer, no, they really wanted to have more of this and more of that, and you don't offer different colors, more blues and more whatever, and you don't offer different colors, so I'm moving on, you know? If you make the customer work hard by saying, hey, message me, this and that, no, right? So if you're getting clicks and views and no sales, the product you're offering, some aspect of it, some factor, is not what they want. We could have a whole Facebook Live about that. I'm sure we talked about before. Pricing, variations, product design. If you're newer to business, more than likely, it may be harder for you to determine what the problem is that's not getting the conversions. And there's no like easy fix to that. Sometimes, you ever heard people when they say something just clicked for them? You have to have those moments. And sometimes it just takes experience, time in a business. So if you literally started a month ago or 6 months ago, unfortunately experience is not on your side. Yes, you watch my Facebook Lives. Sometimes things may click faster for you than if you didn't watch these Facebook Lives, granted. But just know that sometimes it may take some time. And that's why I talked to my husband about something, about starting a new business. Like if I were to, I literally can't build this business, like the amount of money I make, at least for 2 to 3 years, because it takes time. We have shifted gears based on our customers' purchases, and it's paid off. That's what Hillary said. And by the way, Hillary went that way. However, you may say, Dahlia, I'm really about this. Like, I don't know what she exactly shifted, for example, but like if I decide to shift, only if you're comfortable. You're in this business to make money, yes, but also because you're running it and you want to enjoy it. My customers all of a sudden only wanted letterpress stationery. I don't offer, I have no interest in running that type of equipment. I'd be out of business. And that's that. I made a conscious decision. However, Hillary was like, nope, I could change it and do it. Another example of this is that, you know, a long time ago, the DIY market really boomed. And so if you did not offer, depending on certain businesses, if you did not offer printable versions, right, you may have lost some money. If you did, just know that it's okay to lose some money, because there's definitely still a market that doesn't want the DIY, similar to my market, because I print it for them, but some that do. So Hillary shifted gears based on her customers' purchases. But just know that sometimes the market changes, like a big trend changes, a DIY trend or something that it really depletes your business. You know, like I'm in the market of paper goods. And when I meet people that I don't really know, like out in the world, and they're like, what do you do? And I'm like, I'm a stationery design, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, isn't that a dying art? I'm like, you would think so, right? But nope. It's a very thriving business. And so some things have lasted and tested, you know, through the test of time. Out there are, you know, when the Kindles came out and audiobooks, etc. And so things have shifted. People, authors had to, of course, if they wanted to be still popular sellers, they had to take their books and make it into audio. If they chose not to, then they could lose some sales. However, just know that even if shifted, they decided to go into the audio market, but the book market, the actual physical books, has not died out. Some things stood the test of time. However, your product may not over time, or you have to shift a little bit. You know, if you're in the book market, you may have to offer audio. I mean, obviously for popular sellers. I'm just giving you an example. I've been doing this for 10 plus years and it's still a puzzle at times. Yeah, sometimes it is, but Stacey, I could bet you 100% that there are some things that if somebody decides to do this new, that they would literally have no. I remember when I first started stationery, okay, I had such silly questions that I look back now, I'm like, did I really? And I literally have them in the email. Because I was asking a mentor, okay? And I'm like, what the hell was I asking? Like, so Stacey might be like, Dahlia, I've been doing this for 10 plus years, I'm still puzzled. You're puzzled at times based on advanced things, but not simple things, like the beginning part, the first few years of business. However, if somebody started your business today, fresh, they would be puzzled about the newer things that you could like do in your sleep. You know what I'm saying? Jennifer, nothing like the touch and scent of a real paper and real books. Really, it isn't, and that's through the test of time, okay? Anyway. Kathy, Dahlia, do you sell tangible or instant download items? I sell both. The majority of my business, by the way, is tangible. My assistant here is printing. That's what we do. My printable shop, by the way, I pay absolutely no mind to it, unfortunately, because I'm so busy. Hopefully in the future I can, but that doesn't produce much, like $100, $150 a month, sometimes even less, because I literally ignore it. But really my business is tangible goods. I want to pay attention more to my printable business. I just don't have the time at the moment. All right, let's move forward. I went over 6 of them. I have one more to kind of go over. If it went through all 6 and you fixed all 6, okay, and you could use this last tip even before that, you could absolutely use it and decide to knock out the product. I didn't, you know, pass this 7th sign, but am I proud of this designer product? I use this example in another Facebook Live. If you had this product, you designed it, whatever, you've listed it, are you proud of it? If Oprah Magazine came to you and emailed you and said, hey, we want to feature some of your products, would you pick this product out of the lineup? And if you're like, Dahlia, no, I have hundreds of products, I'll pick other ones. Granted, but if they were like, hey, we need a cat design, and this is a cat design, would you be proud to say, yes, Oprah Magazine, here's one that I would recommend to show your viewers? Would you be proud of it? Because you would know that it would lead to sales. Because if it wasn't great and you weren't proud of it, it would not lead to sales. So you just wasted a space in the Oprah Magazine, right, to feature a product. Would you be proud of this design? If not, at this point, if you went through all 7 steps especially, let me stop flinging around this scissor, by the way, it's very dangerous. If not, then get rid of it. And design really something that's worthy of you showing off to your friends, family, magazines, something, okay? And I'll be honest with you, and I think you guys can maybe relate. Have you ever been embarrassed about a product that you have, like that you designed, especially over time? I mean, if we've been in business for at least a year or so, I have, and I don't no longer sell those products. Regardless if it sells or not, it's because it doesn't match my brand. I'm here to build a brand. I'm not here just to throw one-off products into the world and see if it sells to make extra chump change. I'm here to build a business, right? And so, if you've ever been embarrassed about a product, some of us are been in business for a long time. Some people have actually started new here, but you're better than that, right? And so you should not be designing products that you're not proud of. And if it is, tweak it. And if you're completely not proud of it, scrap it. Don't say, let me throw it out to the world to see if somebody bites on it because I've already designed it. You know, just because we are solo entrepreneurs doesn't mean, or handmade business doesn't mean that we should be doing that. Okay? Now, think about people. Let me really piggyback on this example. Think about people. You guys know who you are, and it's okay because I've done that before, who just are in business to shell out designs because they know if they have SEO on their side and blah, 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 they shell out designs, okay? Because it's a numbers game to them. And while part of it is a numbers game, it's really about quality too. You guys know that. Don't forget it. Think about just selling designs, shelling out designs, 10 an hour, listing them. Like, I'm a pro. Like, I could get photos done, SEO, all in my sleep, okay? But it doesn't mean I should be shelling out design. That should take some time. Now, sometimes I'm in a designing mood, and things are just working, right? If you're proud of the design, etc., then that's great. But if not, scrap it. I've done it before. I scrapped design because even if I worked a long time on it, I scrapped it, you know? You have to think about everything that you touch should be a success. Everything that you design should be, you gave it your all. You know, are you proud of it? I'm not telling you to take 3 weeks to create one design, okay? Hopefully it doesn't take you that long. What I'm saying is that we shouldn't be treating this business as, hey, literally, like the big boys, like, you know, like Macy's and you know, all these like big companies. Yeah, when they come off the product line, it doesn't take them 5 minutes. We can literally probably come up with the product line in 5 minutes, correct? I can literally design something right now and list it in 5 minutes. Because we have it easier, it doesn't mean we should abuse that power and start shelling out designs, okay? Because what happens later, by the way, guys, it may, because of SEO and other things you implemented, it may have this really nice boost, right? It may be on this like this SEO high or this demand high where you created a product because, you know, scissors are in demand, and at this moment, like boom, and then you just created anything that's like scissors, and then boom, it sells. But what happens, and it doesn't stand the test of time, what happens is that over time, this product dies out. Now, there's a difference between dying out because it's a trend that died out or because you didn't really give it the attention it deserved, this design. And so you just shelled it out quickly and didn't really focus on your customers' needs when you designed it. Let me put the scissor away because that's really dangerous. Okay. Okay. I'm not here to judge your products, but really, you know, guys, if you only have 10 items in your shop and the designs are not that great, like this is what you came up with, come on, you could do better. And I'm saying this in a very loving way because I believe in a lot of you. It's not you have to push yourself. You have to push yourself to get there. Let me go over a couple tips for you because those are the 7 signs, okay? First tip, being proactive instead, right? So sometimes our disconnect is not SEO and variation, things like that. It can be, maybe a little bit of it, right? But our disconnect is actually creating products that people want. I talk about this many times in Facebook Lives. You can look at other Facebook Lives. But it's important that you research the type of products, product types, and designs that have a higher chances of surviving, okay? And here's the reality, and I see this, by the way, some members in this group actually have this issue. If you have some items that have lower demand, let's say a whole product line. Let's say if you sell mugs, right, with sayings on it. Let's say the demand for mugs are very, very low. But you're like, Dahlia, I made great designs and I did great SEO, blah, blah. But the demand is low and all your items or majority of the items in your shop are low demand items. I mean, you can bet your butt that you should have a variety of other items at higher demand. Otherwise, you should be okay with not making that much money. I know that sounds mean, but that's the reality. Don't come to me saying, Dahlia, you know, I sell crocheted items and it's summertime and I'm not making money. Get out of here. What do you want from me? You want me to like wave a magic wand for you? Think about it. Think about it. You guys are smart. Think about it, okay? And say, okay, you know what? If I want to stick in this crochet business, the reality is I might have my ups and downs, period. But if you're not okay with the ups and downs and create product lines that make sense within your market, within your like brand, and that will allow for big, well, that's not as low demand, that's bigger demand, if that makes sense, okay? And so you have to come up with a variety that have it. And so, for example, there's some things in my shop, I have a variety. I have notepads, note cards, blah, 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 blah. Some of my categories are higher demand than others. So I have a variety. And even within a category, some are higher than others. I might have some floral stationery, some this and that stationery. So I have some that are variety. Make sure you have a variety, okay? Obviously, if you can make a whole entire shop full of high demand items, go for it. But we know that's not always going to be the case, because sometimes you could have some that are regular demand, but you went after it because the market, there's a hole in the market, not people are going after it. So you went after it to guarantee sales. Does that make sense? So that's that. Be proactive, okay? And then, of course, right out of the gate, when you create this product that you were proactive about, that you're like, Dahlia, I gotta stop waving the scissor around. Dahlia, I created this product. I did the research. It's high demand. Oh, decent demand, blah, blah. Right out of the gate, apply great photos, okay? Great SEO, great description, variations, blah, 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 and then list. Some people just list before having great SEO, great blah, 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 great photos. You could do that and go back later, but you ever walk into a really messy house and was like, oh, I just wish I could just light it on fire and start again. You ever feel that way? I felt that way before. Maybe not to my house, but in general, like, I just want to like light it on fire and start again. Avoid that feeling, like you want to light everything on fire and start again, by doing it right the first time. I was listing items on Friday and yesterday. I didn't finish yesterday, but still I'm gonna finish today. And I'm doing it right from the first time, period. Anne says, I see the same items over and over again. Nothing's unique, nothing that will wow your customers, and same copy over and over again. Here's the thing that Anne's saying, okay? I could be a master at doing the same designs because I have a engaged clientele that will buy it. But the reality is that stuff won't survive because there's many people that are doing it. Actually, it actually makes I have an engaged clientele. But the reality is if you're relying on SEO heavily, and I do rely on SEO part of it, then the reality is somebody sees my designs and sees everything else. Too many people can get into that. It's just, and said it, guys. You know, and if you're out there saying, yeah, my designs do look like everybody else's, you know, but it's doing well for me, blah, blah, blah. Have a bigger plan. Have a better plan. It's like when I said to you a long time ago, if you are, and this of course is another topic for another day, but if you are making designs based on copyrighted designs, like Mickey Mouse and blah, 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 and you're making money now, and Etsy has not shut you down or has no plans to shut you down, it doesn't matter. It's not a business that you should sustain because you can't sustain that business. It is not, like, imagine like you sustain that business and you quit your full-time job to do this full-time, and one day it's taken all away from you. That was stupid, right? You shouldn't be doing that. You should, and like Anne said, don't do designs that are very, very similar to everybody else's, okay? And sometimes we might have some similarities depending on our market, but if you also are growing off of Etsy and having your own .com and really differentiating yourself, not just for product design, but customer service, turnaround time, quality, then maybe it might look like somebody else's, but it really isn't, and that's fine because you have an engaged following. That's be something that's working for you. Let me give you one more tip before I let you guys go. Having sucky items, and you're like, yep, this product's not performing, and I went over the 7 signs, I've done it all, at least decently, then it's time to get rid of it. If you're on Etsy, it could technically bring your shop down, meaning if you have a lot of low performing items, it's not really good for the algorithm of your shop. And the reality is, screw that for a second, because I could bring in my own traffic other ways. So, you know, I still like the algorithm to be on my side, but it really can make for a really sucky user experience. So your customer comes in and has to like, you know, comb their way through design that doesn't meet their needs. Guess what happens? They get frustrated and they leave. That's what happens. Yep. They feel like that they're not being wowed and oohed and awed. That makes them like want to, like, have you ever got a message from a customer that says, oh my God, I absolutely love your shop, blah, 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 and they ask you a question? That's what you want. You don't want somebody to look and then realize nothing's meeting their needs here. Let me move on. Okay, so getting rid of sucky designs really does help the user experience, which by the way is like king right now. Because when you get that customer in your shop, we're always working on getting more people to your shop, but if you work on the people that you've gotten to convert, you're probably going to be better off. Okay, guys, so I'm going to wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed today's Facebook Live. It's important that if you have a time frame in the year where you're like, okay, I'm attacking products that don't perform, go over these 7 steps. All right, guys, have a fantastic day, and I will see you on Facebook Live next Tuesday. However, you know, I'm always around the group chatting with you guys and things like that, okay? Talk to you later. Bye.